HiSet testing tips. So we've been talking about what to expect from the HiSet, taking the math test. Let's just go over just a few HiSet testing tips. First thing I always say, can't say it enough, is to bring your valid, can't be expired, state ID. All right. So I've already covered that. Don't come hungry. Please eat before you come. So these tests are long and they're stressful. So eat your regular stuff. I mean, don't do your routine so that you're comfortable in the test. You don't want to be starving to death. You don't want to be falling asleep. You want to be rested. I've had students who fall asleep during the test. That's just really not good, okay? So the next thing is, of course, to bring a jacket. We forget that. Like if it's in the middle of the summer and it's burning up outside, you may forget that you may need a jacket in there. I know our testing facility often is very cold, and you really just cannot think if you're freezing to death, if you're sleeping, and you're hungry. So take care of those things before you do anything else. Okay, now let's just talk about some general testing tips. You've got to watch your time. So you've got to have your time management. So be careful, don't get hung up. I'm going to talk mostly about math. Don't get too hung up on one problem that's really tough, or maybe you know how to do it, but it's going to be so long for you to do the work on your scratch paper that it's going to eat up your time. So watch your time. You can flag or mark on your scratch paper. I really recommend for my students for them to keep their scratch paper as if they were doing a set of problems for me in the classroom. Like, okay, I'm taking the test. Number 1, I had to do some scratch work. Okay, number 2, I didn't have to do anything. No. Number 7, I had to do some scratch work. Number 12, I left blank, or I didn't answer. I need to come back to. So that when I'm finished with the whole test, I have my stuff in order. How many of you have done your scratch work like this? They go choo choo choo, and then they come over here, choo choo choo, and then they come over here, choo choo choo. So if you need to go find number 13 and you're searching all over your paper, front and back, and this page and that page, you're wasting time. So just number, do your scratch work, put your answer. Number, do your scratch work, put your answer. Number, question mark, has you left that one blank? And that way, if you have 2 minutes left at the end of the test, you see this one you marked on your scratch paper you need to go back to, you can go right back to it and you won't waste your time. All right, the next thing is be familiar with your calculator before you go. This is the type of calculator you'll have. Practice using it before you go. You should know how to do fractions on your calculator, percents on your calculator, exponents on your calculator, square roots on your calculator. You got to know that stuff. Don't waste your time clearing the calculator. That doesn't matter, and that's time wasted away from your problem that maybe you could get right that might be enough to pass you. You'll have your formula sheet. Be familiar with your formula sheet. I talked about that in a previous video. Let's talk about if you're taking it on paper. Please watch how you bubble your answers. Okay? Because if you get off on your answers, you know all your answer sheet is shifted, and that has happened to some of my students. So you might practice doing a practice test on paper. They have those online. You can print them for free. Practice it. Make sure that you can bubble and transfer your answers to the right spot. Let's see. What else do we need to talk about? Paper, bringing your stuff, watch your screen. If you're taking it on computer, watch your screen at the end of the test before you exit and see if your score is not present. It won't tell you it won't say, hey, your score is this, but it may flash a number. Remember, your scoring is between 0 and 20, and 8 is considered passing. Okay, so hopefully we covered some things that you need to remember when you're taking your test. Oh, one more thing I want to mention is please be courteous to your other testers who might be sharing the testing room with you, because if you're loud, if you're moving around or making a bunch of noise, It's very disturbing to others. I've had other students come back to me and say it was really frustrating because they couldn't concentrate. So just be mindful of that and be quiet as maybe you finish before someone else. You can get up quietly and don't disturb the other people that are also testing at the same time. Good luck. Hope you do well.